Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SeahawkTalk here on the Salve Athletics Network. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli, coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. We're live every day, 3 to 4 p.m. here on the Salve Athletics Network. We have a great show for you lined up here today. We will be having special guest Greg Kay, the commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference. We'll also be joined by Lauren Packer, Hannah Smith, Gabriella Von Barron, Casey Gallo, and Robin McFetters. We've got a packed show. Can't wait to get to our guests. But first, like always, we want to remind you to keep your distance.
Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity.
That is Ed Habershaw with his rendition of Keep Your Distance from the Shake, Rhode Island-based band Worldwide Message. Social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing. We will continue to promote all of that here on the Seahawk Talk program. Want to bring in our not our hosts, could be hosts, sometimes hosts, producers, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Welcome to the program. How are we doing here today?
Doing pretty good, Andrew.
I wanted to ask you guys any stories here. I think, Mike, you had an interesting story that you provided with us here to lead off today's show.
Yeah, so I was just scrolling through Salve today. Salve's little, they give stories and updates like a magazine, and it's I saw this, which was that's another one. Intramurals at
Okay.
Intramurals Sports Fortnite tour. It's
Story.
hosting a Fortnite tour, and I'll let Joey maybe talk about that a little more. But the YMCA local restaurants are giving students discounts. And I just wanted to list out some of them. I know Nicholas Pizza's been doing this. Diego's, you can actually use your Salve bucks there. But then there's a couple other ones. You can go on their Instagrams and check this out as well. They'll now be offering discounts to Salve students, so go check that out. And if you have Salve bucks, remember you can go to Diego's or any of these other stores around Newport.
That's pretty cool.
Joey.
They let us use Seahawk bucks at CBS again. They don't work at CBS anymore.
That was nice.
Joey, any notes here to begin at the top of the program?
Yeah, I got a good weird one. Written by our good friend Scott Barrett. If you got $15.8 million lying around, Champ Soleil's on sale. Why it's on like a Zillow? I don't know. So I don't know what this building is. I had to look it up. It's across the street from Marble House. So if you got $15.8 million lying around, you want to live across the street from Marble House.
You know, I am house hunting, but I don't think my price parameters would have had this one pop up for me. Just a little bit outside.
Range, but look at that little garden thing or whatever it is. I don't know. Man. I just think it's really funny that it's listed at all. Like clearly it's because it's kind of funny and it's like must be something well known in the area. But just like just having it on here is if like any old person could buy this. I think it's
you think now, I feel like I'm a reasonable guy. And if you speak reasonably with somebody, you could get reasonable things. You think I could haggle the seller down to like $400K? You think I could do it?
If nobody wants it after like a couple months, yeah.
Yeah, this might be on the market for like 2 or 3 more years. These do not go quickly, so you might have a shot there.
Yeah. Not likely. Though I'd love the view, and I'd like the location. Prime location. Mike, it would, even though my commute right now is from the bedroom to the back room. When the world returns to normal, I will have quite a shorter commute to campus.
Hey, maybe you get like 5 or 6 friends together. You all throw in a couple minutes. You never know.
Want to chip in? We'll go in on this Gilded Age mansion together. Yeah.
What? How many people? If you all put in 400,000, how many people do you have to share the house with? Like,
what we got to find out is this on
how many bedrooms? 11 bedrooms. That's 11 roommates. It's 10 roommates.
Michael, we had some alumni on to talk about real estate and housing. I wonder if this is on their app.
Yeah,
at all.
I'm gonna text them right now. And I'm trying to do the math on that 15 million thing. How many people
It is not enough.
realistically would you have to split that between? And I think around 25 people is 600,000. I just did. So
I think
yeah,
if
maybe not a great idea.
I think 11 bedroom. Let's just say we got a whole bunch of friends who were married or let's just say you get 15 people, a mil each. I think if we all liquidated all our assets, maybe we'd have enough to get a loan. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll put it on layaway first.
Just strap generations of our children with the debt of having this mansion.
Yeah, but they'd have such a nice house.
Yes, I get give and take. All right, fellas, I'm going to let you guys get to work producing the show. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll be right back with the Commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference, Greg Kay. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Seahawk fans. While the season is not what we hoped for, athletics is still going strong. Our coaches have adapted to new guidelines and are continuing to foster the growth of our student athletes on and off the field. With all the restrictions due to COVID-19, I can certainly understand what our student athletes are missing out on this year. Competition with teammates, home games with fans, away trips, and the camaraderie of taking a bus hours away, and team meals at Miley after practice. Our athletes are continuing to prepare for competition and are eager for the next full season. We all can't wait to have competition back on campus with our Seahawk fans like you cheering on our student athletes. Supporting our student athletes has a greater impact now more than ever. Please consider making a contribution to a sport of your choice below or Seahawk Athletics. Your support will help ensure that our Seahawk athletes come out of this pandemic stronger, faster, and better than ever.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. We're going to go now to the Commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference, Greg Kay. Greg, welcome back to the show. How are we doing?
Doing great, Andrew. Thanks again for having me on. Always a treat.
Always a treat. I want to start first. What are any updates from your chair you can give us regarding the NCAA D3, anything relating to the conference as a whole?
Well, as you can imagine, the conversations both within the CCC and for many Division III conferences is going hot and heavy right now. We've seen announcements over the course of the last couple of weeks from several leagues. This week we heard from the Liberty League as well as the New England Collegiate Conference. They are going to be pulling the plug on their winter sports. But we did finally see a conference that came out with some positive news, and that's the Landmark Conference, which is based down primarily in Pennsylvania, Maryland, District of Columbia. I think they have a school in New Jersey, where they're essentially postponing a decision, targeting a specific date around the first of the year, where they are going to make some sort of announcement. So like everybody else, we continue the conversations at the athletic directors level. We continue the conversation at our president's level, trying to assess what's happening. You know, the beauty of it is we still have a little bit of time, you know, while we would be reaching the point where we would first be getting into conference play this month. You know, certainly we hope to have the ability to do that, you know, at some point after the first of the year. So we continue to monitor, we continue to discuss, share ideas, share information, see what other conferences are doing, and trying to make sure that we leave no stone unturned as far as creating a scenario where our student athletes can play.
Those sorts of discussions, these meetings, are these really just presentations of facts? It's not like a court case where one side gets to present their argument for here's why we want to play and here's why we shouldn't play. Is it just here's the facts and here's what we need to do based off those facts?
Yeah, it's really a little bit of everything. You know, certainly, you know, in our case where we have institutions that are located in 3 different states. We do take a look at what's happening in Massachusetts. We look at what's happening in Rhode Island. We look at Maine, obviously, with a couple institutions in the city of Boston. We talk about those things, but we also really try to spend some time, finding out what our schools have been running into as far as, their testing, any other roadblocks on campus. As you might imagine, coming off the Halloween weekend, you would expect to see a little bit of an uptick. But I think the important part is that, people are starting to reach a point where they, not only know what to do, but they know what not to do. So it really is a little bit of everything. And really the overriding question that I think exists at the presidential level is that each time they assemble, wanting to know, hey, what's changed? Where are we in a different spot than we were the last time we spoke? So it's a little bit of everything. I think deep down, certainly everybody wants to play, but it's just a matter of whether or not the situation will allow us to do that and to do it safely.
I wanted to ask you, we've talked before, you teased the CCC Person of the Week. Me and you both knew at the time that Salve's was coming up. We weren't going to reveal who it was, but it has happened. Paul Budasov, CCC Person of the Week, I think just a few weeks ago. Any thoughts, comments you have on Paul and his contributions both on and off the ice?
Absolutely. That was one where I was really happy for Paul. He's somebody, certainly that I've gotten to know, not just as a hockey player, making the trip to Lake Placid with the team a couple of years back, but also through his work on CCC SAC. I know when we talk a lot about what we try to do for student athletes, a big thing that we stress really is creating environments where athletes can live out the mission of their institution. And Paul is somebody that does that on a day in and day out basis. He is a leader among his teammates. He is a leader on campus. He is a leader on the conference level. Primarily the reason that his name came forward and we chose to do a feature on Paul was his efforts leading the charge at Salve for no play on election day, which we saw last week, and that was something that I know he was very passionate about. So were the student athletes that he worked with on that program. So really, for somebody to say, hey, here's what we need to be doing as a community. Here's what we need to be doing for our student athletes. That's an admirable quality. So it was really great to see him, be recognized and, true to his leadership skills. This past Sunday, our SAC had their most recent meeting, and Paul emerged as a member of our executive committee. For the second straight year, he had been serving as an at-large member of the executive committee. He is moving into the secretary role, which I think is great, having somebody with that experience, not only to keep the group moving along, but more importantly, to cultivate the younger student athletes who are going to be coming along in SAC. And that's something that Paul is tremendous when it comes to teaching others how to lead on the team, on campus, and as I said, in the conference. So that was really a great one. He was our second men's hockey player that we've been able to recognize. He was the 7th out of 8 people that we've recognized so far. We've got 2 more institutions will have someone recognized over the next couple weeks, and then we will have come full circle on the Person of the Week program for the fall, and certainly hope to keep that going, well into the future. It's been so well received.
One of the other discussions we've brought it up multiple times on this program, and I know it's been talked about on campus and between teams. The CCC also getting in on this discussion as well. You guys had Ivy Watts this past Sunday discuss mental health and struggling with mental health as an athlete in a great program that you guys put on with her. Talk about that.
It was outstanding. Ivy is a former Division II student athlete who competed at the University of New Haven. She is now a highly acclaimed mental health speaker and advocate. She put on a presentation basically helping student athletes to deal with their struggles in terms of mental health as an athlete. The example that she used was when she became a collegiate runner, she replaced an All-American, and she had set certain standards for herself. And there were a lot of things apart from just her and the clock that led to a lot of challenges that she had to deal with on a day in and day out basis. And she was wonderful when it came to sharing her story. If anybody is like me and you follow a lot of other Division III conferences and institutions on social media, Ivy has really spread. She's really covered the ground, so to speak, this fall. It seems like there isn't a week that goes by where she isn't sharing her message with several institutions. And we were fortunate to have her join us. We had 139 computers that connected to our live Zoom that night, many of which had 2, 3, even more teammates to a computer. So, she easily reached several hundred student athletes in the CCC, as she's been doing all fall throughout New England and around the country. Just a wonderful, wonderful program. Certainly, I encourage any institution or any team that is looking for someone to provide mental health perspectives and strategies. We have the story on the website that links to her. She's just wonderful, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to bring her back in some other capacity sooner rather than later. She was wonderful.
Yeah, normalizing those types of conversations around mental health are just incredibly important. So I love seeing anytime institutions do those sorts of events. Last thing, Greg, I know you have an appreciation for the history of a lot of the games and a lot of sports. Again, just this year is just piling on to us. The sad, tragic passing today. Tommy Heinsohn, former Celtic broadcaster, coach, player, all around just legend in the Boston landscape, but in NBA history. Celtics announced that he passed away today. Your thoughts on that news and what Tommy meant to Boston?
Yeah, I mean that's a person who I don't think there's a sports fan alive in our part of the country, or really anybody that is not appreciative of those talents. I first started paying attention to sports, I would say around 73, 74. And at that time, that was when the Celtics were on, one of their many, many runs. Just an incredible leader, led some amazing players and amazing teams. That's a franchise that I think if you pulled somebody aside who is, in their 40s, 50s, and older, and said, what's the marquee franchise in the NBA? That the Celtics are an answer that you're gonna get. I think what's really incredible that sometimes we lose sight of. We see the incredible success that someone's like that has had at the professional level. But if you turn the clock back and take a look at what he was able to do in his playing days, when it was really a different world, and smaller schools in the Northeast were regularly among the national leaders at a time that teams could play in both the NCAA and the NIT. You didn't have 64 teams. You didn't have the pageantry that you do now, but you have some amazing, amazing stories. And that's somebody that, if you put together a Mount Rushmore of the Celtics, I mean, to think, Tommy Heinsohn, Red Auerbach, Larry Bird, Bill Russell. I don't know how you'd get it down to just four, but he's somebody that is just forever going to be a huge part of Boston sports and really sports in general. And it's a shame, for me, somebody that's been around forever. And he wasn't a young guy when I first started following things. So for somebody to, keep doing what they're doing and transcend time over that, boy, that's sad news. That's sad news that's come out.
Yeah. Nobody will be able to replace Tommy. I said his tenacity, his passion, his insights into the game, and just blatant homerism too. Kind of channeling the Johnny Most. When he got into his broadcast career. He'll be sorely missed. Greg, thank you so much for coming on once again here today. Once a month, we get to chat with you here on the Seahawk Talk program, and I always look forward to having you on.
Thanks again for having me. Look forward to joining you in a few weeks down the road.
All right, take it easy now. That's Greg Kay, the commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference. We're going to go now to a junior member of our softball team, Lauren Packer. Welcome to the program. Lauren, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Good. I wanted to ask you first. Some people may know, some people may not know, but you are also an RA on campus. What went into why did you pursue that? What got you into choosing to be a residence assistant?
I love helping people, and I've always been around helping others. And when I was in high school, actually, I was a part of it was more of a church thing, I would say, and I would guide kids into confirmation. So that kind of stemmed where I wanted to be an RA. My sister is much older than I am. She's 33 and she's about to have a baby, actually. And that also kind of stemmed why I wanted to be an RA, because I've been around college campuses for so long. So wanting to help people and growing a community and getting to know all the people that I get to meet on a daily basis. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons for why I became an RA. And I think that it just really stemmed from wanting to help people.
Would you say that's your favorite part of being an RA, is getting to help people?
Yeah. And seeing, especially last year I had freshmen, so I got to see them grow so much. And they have a lot of different other problems, and now I have upperclassmen, so it's a little bit different. But you can see how they grow and how they deal with their friendships and the transition to college, and helping with that is probably my main goal.
Is it hard to balance? You're also a double major. So is it difficult to balance the school, softball, and being an RA?
It can be tough sometimes, especially this week. It was a little tough. My schoolwork was a lot, very heavy on classes with tests and quizzes and stuff. But I make sure to time management well. I use my agenda. It's my best friend. If I don't have that thing with me, then my life is lost, I think. But yeah, I make sure to put everything. Even Seahawk Talk was in there today. I can't, if I don't have it written down, I will forget it.
Yeah. Would that be your best advice you could give to anybody thinking about being an RA? Is buy a planner, get a calendar?
Yeah, for sure. I write down all the days I'm on duty, and every Tuesday we have meetings and stuff. So I make sure to have that all in there. And whenever I need to get any paperwork in for my supervisor, that's my agenda is my best friend.
Mm-hmm. Now to softball specific stuff, you guys got to have a fall season, practice season. Everybody's kind of called it something different. What was that like? Even though there's a lot of unknowns, but at least being able to be around the team, practicing, having some sense of normalcy, and being out there. What was that like, and what did that mean to you this fall?
It meant a lot. Being home was tough. Being sent home was even tougher, I think. And coming back to school was probably what I looked forward to most. And even being back on the softball field, I really needed some sort of consistency in my life. And I felt with COVID and everything going on, I had nothing consistent. And I felt when I got back to school and I got back into my groove with the team and was practicing and stuff, I was able to have a sense of a schedule. And even though it was a little different, it was a little odd, it was still so good to be back with the team and like having such an amazing fall season despite COVID. I know we had to wear masks all the time, but we still had so much fun. And I think the team grew so much within the short period of time that we had.
How would you say, maybe elaborate more on the softball stuff, getting to work and getting to practice? How would you say the team excelled, or at least maybe embraced the challenge of what you guys were able to do in the fall?
Coach likes to say, we're all going through this at the same time. So when we're sprinting, coach likes to tell us like it's who's going to work harder at this point. So every school, every CCC school is going through the same thing with COVID, and if it's whoever works harder, and if you put in more work on the field, then we're going to get the outcome that we want. And I think that was a big motivation for us, because despite us all feeling like we're in this such a standoff, like such an unknown situation, like we have to pursue, like we have to keep going. And I think that was like a big point that coach made, and it kind of stuck with me. Like we're all in this together, and it's really whoever works harder at this point.
Yeah. How has it been? Now it's crazy that we're already like in November, like Thanksgiving's around the corner. It actually seems it's flying by. How has it been getting, you said the summer was hard, but getting to campus, getting back with teammates, meeting freshmen, trying to build the team and that camaraderie? How was that?
It was definitely a little odd, especially last year. We could have get-togethers at the upperclassmen house, and we could have pizza parties and do all sorts of things and really to get to know the freshmen. Unfortunately, we didn't really have any of that this year, and so it was difficult. It was hard to get to know the freshmen, especially because in the beginning we were in small pods. I was in a pod of 5 and was all the catchers, and it was 2 freshmen, myself, and another junior catcher as well. And I got to know those 2 freshmen very well. And once we got into the bigger group, I was struggling to get to know the other freshmen. But I think as time went on and as practice continued, I learned to gain their trust a little and and get to know them on a more deeper level. COVID has been tough, and it hasn't made anything easy, but we gotta keep going.
We had a discussion with Greg Kay, commissioner of the CCC, just before this, talking about a program they ran about mental health and discussions around mental health for student athletes. How important do you think it's been, I think it's the first time ever I think people were loving the fact that there was going to be practice. Usually you think, oh, practice. Everybody seems to have embraced oh my God, please, yes, can we have practice? How important do you think from a mental health aspect has that been for maybe you personally, or for teammates, or just in general for us as athletes to have that chance to do those normal things?
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of took that for granted. When I was at school, I loved softball. I loved it. And sometimes I would be like, oh, I really need a break. I really need a break. And then COVID hit, and then I had a really long break. And I was like, oh God, I need to get back to the field. And actually this summer I coached an 18U team, and it was kids that were looking to get recruited. So it was a cool aspect it was a different sense of the game, which was cool. But being home was a lot, and not having softball and even participating myself was different. And being back and having practice gave me a sense of relief, I think. And now that I don't even have practice, I'm more anxious. Being at having something to do and having a constant schedule and somewhere to be actually got my work done. And now I procrastinate a lot, and I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie, but practice has helped, and especially going back to practice definitely helped my mental health, and I'm sure it helped a lot of my other fellow teammates too.
Now, did you miss not being able to go to Ireland this summer?
Yes, I did. I was very sad. The Olympics were this summer too, and those got canceled. I was really looking forward because I know a bunch of friends on the Italian team, so they were going to be going to the Olympics this summer, and I was really excited to looking and rooting on for them. But I think I had a nice break. I spent my time well, but I did miss Team Ireland a lot. I'm actually looking at my medals right now, and they give me a sense of home.
Yeah. How excited are you for this spring? Hopefully, we all got fingers crossed that games will happen.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to get back out there, and I want to win a ring. Last year, I felt like we were on the track of doing that, and like those first 2 games felt amazing. And the amount of work we put in to just get that ripped away kind of sucked. So I'm looking forward to putting in this effort and hopefully having a season and winning a ring and having a championship on our back. And I'm really excited.
All right, awesome. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Good luck with the rest of the fall into the winter, and then hopefully seeing you out in the field this spring.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, take it easy now. That's Lauren Packer from the softball team. We'll take a short break and be back with our women's lacrosse team. Don't go anywhere.
Salve softball was on the cusp of something great in 2019-2020 until the pandemic hit. It ripped away opportunities and took so many special memories from our players and coaches. Now more than ever, we've learned to cherish our time together, but we're looking for your help. We remain united as a team and are working diligently and safely to help bring life back to our campus, our team, and our sport. Much work lies before us before we can meet the goals and standards that we set in the 2019-2020 season. But your support and generosity help us reach those goals in our 2021 campaign. We're asking for your help to get us back on the field this spring, but most importantly, to help us keep Salve safe and keep Salve special.
Hi, I'm Bill Villarreal. I'm the proud head coach of the women's lacrosse team. With me today are our team captain and fellow lacrosse players. I'd like to say thank you in advance to all the prior support you've shown our program. Thank you.
My name is Katie and I'm a senior captain on the women's lacrosse team.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a senior defenseman on the team.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a freshman attack player.
And I'm Libby. I'm a junior midfielder.
We just wanted to thank you for all the support you've given us during our time here at Salve. It's benefited us so much. And this year we're fundraising for some specific things, including
we're looking to get some new goals for the new fields we're on due to our COVID regulations,
and any other equipment necessities for the upcoming season.
You can click the link on this page to donate now, and please feel free to share.
Go Seahawks!
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli, going now to two members of our women's lacrosse team, Hannah Smith and Gabriella Von Barron. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are we?
Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Want to start first with, how is practice going? I know Bill comes on, Coach Villarreal comes on. He's so excited every single week. From your guys' perspective, how has this new normal of restrictions in practice and at least just being out there on the field, how has it been for you?
Everything's going well. It's definitely different than the last seasons, but we're staying healthy for the most part and trying to stay safe and going out there and just trying to do our best.
It's very interesting being broken up into 3 different groups because you see the people that are in your group, but you don't necessarily get to converse or really check in on the other people because they're on the other side of the field. So that's something that's new and interesting for me.
Hannah, senior year. I mean, it must feel weird because junior year is just like this abstract, weird thing that happened and then didn't happen.
Mhm.
There has been the talk, there's the blanket waiver. There's that fifth year is dangling there. Are you thinking about that at all? Or you just focus on, you know what, this is senior year. I'm going to make this senior year and make the most out of it.
So I'm really just focusing on senior year because I am an education major. So I'm looking to hopefully get a teaching job after I graduate.
The real world.
Yes, exactly. A fifth year wouldn't really be conducive to that, which is very sad because I would love to have that opportunity. But the major and the career path that I really love and I've chosen doesn't necessarily allow for that, but that's okay.
Yeah. For both of you, how has the balancing act gone? It's hard enough being a student athlete normally. Now with COVID as well, how has it been balancing all of that stuff, the athletics and the academics?
You can go first, Bree.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, I'm only a sophomore, so I've only had 1 year to really like experience school and college with sports and everything. I mean, like definitely being online has its challenges, but it also has like its benefits. And I think like the teachers are more understanding, knowing that the circumstances are different than this year or than last year. But for the most part, it's going well. Bill is like so good about having us get our work done and pushing us to achieve our goals this year. And I mean, although things aren't the way we wanted them to be, like we kind of just have to keep working through it and strive to do our best.
It's very interesting actually because I'm a senior, I'm student teaching this semester. So I go from student teaching to work, or from SEER teaching to workout, or from student teaching right to practice, which is super. That's just super new for me. It's very cool. It's not like I'm in actual class because I'm with the elementary school students and then with the team.
We got to see your new fundraising video, part of the Seahawks Take Flight campaign. Talk about what it was like to work on that video, and then also just what your goals are as far as fundraising for the team.
It was really fun working on that video actually because it was just cool to get to hang out with Katie and Libby and Coach and Julia. So we just kind of like messed around and like really came up with it. We only had to do a couple takes, which was awesome. The camera crew said that was one of the quickest ones they were able to do. So that was kind of cool. And then we are really just trying to fundraise for some new equipment. We're on different fields this year because of the COVID regulations. We don't practice at Gaudet anymore. So we're on like the grass fields that are on campus as well as Topa. But some of the grass fields that are on campus need some new goals and nets because those ones are just a little run down just because from being weathered, from being outside. So we're really trying to fundraise to get those.
You guys have also been heavily involved in SAC, and SAC has been doing so many tremendous things on campus. Talk about those.
Bree, if you want to talk about the walk that you went to, that would be awesome. I wasn't able to attend, but Bree went.
Yeah, so they had a walk last week about like an equality walk, and so I attended that, and it was a really cool event. I had never been to anything like that on campus, but it was a great turn up, and it was really nice seeing everyone and like whole community together and walking for such a great cause, especially since it's something so prevalent in today's society. But I thought they did a great job with that, and everyone that attended, I think they had a great time as well.
Hannah, you mentioned the student teaching stuff, and even you've been usually working after school with kids. How has all of that been impacted by COVID? And is it crazy to think, education and anybody that's in like nursing right now, craziest year to be like a senior in those two professions because you're going to be getting thrown right into a hectic workplace.
Yeah. So as far as student teaching goes, it's very different than what I was expecting because the first 3 years that you're here, they're conditioning you for your student teaching because that conditions you for your actual classroom. And now all of a sudden we're thrown into the classroom to student teach, and it's like nothing we've ever seen before. Students have to stay at their desks usually. They can't be too close to each other. We're not allowed to play on playground equipment. It's just a way of teaching that I personally have never experienced. And we have to wear masks all the time. It's like that at work as well. So we are just kind of like trying to protect ourselves while also have students stay in school, which is really important. So it's very, very new.
How excited are you guys to actually hopefully have games, be out on the field this spring? And what do you think this team can be?
I mean, I definitely think we're all excited for this year. I think we have like a really great group of girls. We have, I think 10 walk-ons or so coming in the spring. and we have a freshman that's playing with us now, and then also a transfer. So I think we're looking at like some really strong girls, and like I hope that it'll be a really great outcome. And I think we're all just kind of hoping that we'll have a spring season, and understanding that in order for us to do so, we have to be safe and like stick to the guidelines that the school have implemented. So I mean, I really hope we get to play that season.
Yeah, I'm just excited to get back out there. We had 3 games last year, which were super awesome and super fun, and then we weren't able to play anymore. So I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to really get out there with all of my friends.
All right. Like I said, Bill comes on every week. He's happy. He's excited. I know he's going to love your guys' positivity too that you brought here today. So thank you so much, ladies, for being on, and good luck with the rest of the fall, and hopefully see you out on the field this spring.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye.
All right. Take it easy now. That is Gabriella Von Barron and Hannah Smith from our women's lacrosse team. We're going to take a very short break and be right back with the assistant coaches of our women's track and field and cross country teams. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Rob McGinnis, head coach for cross country and assistant coach for track and field, coming to you today on behalf of the track and field program. We're about ready to get back to work on the track side. Practices will start in a few weeks, and we'll do our best to navigate around some of the protocols that are in place. My distance runners are used to running with face masks. The sprinters, jumpers, and throwers are getting used to that as well. And we're hopeful we'll be back on track this spring and competing against other schools around the CCC and in the region. In the meantime, we could use your support. The pandemic has placed an added strain on departmental budgets, and we could use some assistance in covering costs that are over and above our operational budget. We want to make sure that we make decisions for competitive reasons and not for financial ones. We appreciate all that you, as alumni, family, and friends do for us, and we hope to see you on the sidelines when we're back on the track this spring. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. We're going to go lastly to assistant coaches from our women's track and field team, Casey Gallo and Robin McFetters. Ladies, how are we?
Good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to start by asking for each of you, what do you enjoy about coaching at Salve?
I love working with all the girls. I get a good group from cross country that come over to track, and then just all the other girls that don't do cross country that also join track are great to work with.
I just think that there's like a great team dynamic between everybody. So it's really nice, even though it's throwers and runners and all that stuff, we're all still one team and it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Robin, for you, what are the differences between coaching high school and coaching college?
It's different. The high school kids, for a lot of them, it's like their parents just sign them up and it's something to do after school. So it depends on what you get, but at the college level, they actually want to be there. So it's nice to have people that are dedicated and excited and want to work.
Mm-hmm. Casey, for you, what is it like getting to coach at your alma mater?
It's great. I mean, going to Salve, I played soccer and ran track. I never really thought that coaching cross country and track would be something I would do in the future, but just to use everything that my coaches did for me and able to pass that on to the teammates in the last few years and currently is just a great feeling.
How would each of you describe your coaching styles or philosophies?
I think my coaching style is just nice because they have the same passion that I do. So it's nice to kind of intermingle about the same thing and be around and in the same environment with people that are interested in it and they want to improve. So
similarly to that, especially more so in cross country and track, just getting out there and practicing with the girls and running with the team. During track, I can't really keep up with the sprinters, but in cross country, it's just great to be able to run with them, and they even just running with all the different groups to meet all the girls, and it's good.
Is there anyone in particular that either you look to for advice or inspires you as coaches?
I always go to my high school coach. He's my go-to for everything. He's still to this day, I talk to him like probably at least 3 times a week. We discuss everything between his teams, my teams, and it's just really nice to have someone that they'll have the answer for you.
Definitely having the great colleagues of Rob and Matt. Matt was obviously my coach when I was at Salve, and getting to know Rob, and whether it's something running related, life related, he's always there to offer advice and help.
How different has it been to adjust coaching and training during this pandemic and these unprecedented times?
It's been tough. Go for it, Case.
No, you go. Just the biggest thing for cross country so far was that we weren't able to have any like meets against other teams. We did do a couple time trial races amongst ourselves, which was good, but just giving the girls the opportunity to compete against other teams I would say that was kind of like the biggest. And it's, aside from wearing the masks, but we all got used to it after a while.
Yeah, I feel like the mask is second nature. I haven't been down to campus yet to actually train with the girls, but because we have it a little tougher because we practice at Rogers High School, so we have to go under those regulations and hours. So hopefully soon we'll be able to get back in the circle.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, and lastly, what are the outlooks for both the cross country and the track and field teams? Hopefully, it'll be crazy, but hopefully everybody's doing something together at the spring all at once. What are your outlooks for both of those squads?
I'm hoping that we're going to get to have track meets in the spring to some extent. I know there was talk about having some sort of cross country season in the spring, but I think just doing track, I mean, not everyone does do track that does cross country, but I think being able to have at least a couple of meets will definitely be good and give the girls something to look forward to with all their training.
Yeah, giving them some sort of like outlook, some light at the end of the tunnel would be good. So I'm hoping there's some sort of meets that we can all work towards and see what we got.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on here today. As Matt Hurd would say, two great Americans. Always like to have you guys on the programs. Good luck with the rest of the fall training and everything else. And like we've been telling everybody, hopefully out there competing this spring. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy now. That's Casey Gallo and Robin McFetters, assistant coaches with our cross country and women's track and field team. We'll take a short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. We'll be right back.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You gotta take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I am Andrew Pizzelli. I'd like to bring in the producers now to help wrap up today's show, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Fellas, I always like to get off the top. What are your thoughts on any notes from today's guests?
I just muted myself again, just realized. But as it was nice to get Greg K back in the studio. We haven't heard from him in a few weeks, and I just really like to get the updates on, excuse me, what's going on in the conferences.
Yeah, it's always cool listening to Greg K. And also, so when we were making the tickers earlier, I saw like Lauren Packer, but it didn't have a year after it. So it's like, oh, that must be a different Lauren Packer. So I didn't say anything, but no, that's my RA, which I thought was funny. I didn't know she did softball. She's super nice, super good RA. I could vouch for her right now.
Hey, learn something new every day here on the Seahawk Talk program. I always like having Greg on as well. I've had him on my own podcast as well, away from Salve action, but tremendous. He has so much insight on so many things. As he would say, I've been around a while, so he's got things to offer on pretty much everything. We could, we joke how we could have a whole hour with Craig O'Rourke II. We could have a whole hour with Greg K. And he's got plenty of interesting things to bring to the table. Any other news, notes, anything else here at the end of the program you'd like to bring our attention to?
Just a quick little blurb I have here. November 10th. So Salve Regina's art students have created a little art gallery. So I just wanted to plug that really quick and go check it out. It's in the Antone Center. If you guys are dropping by or just happen to walk in, it'll take 2 minutes. Just go show some support. I know they worked really hard on it. So it's open till the 20th of November. And yeah, you should go check it out.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Joey, anything else from your chair?
Nothing in particular. In me news, UPS lost my 3D printer, so
no.
That's what I was trying to figure out at the beginning, like right before we started. I got that email, so I was talking about. I don't know what the email was. I don't think it's from me. And they're like, "Yeah, it's lost." I'm like, "Okay, what do I do?"
Feels like something.
Excited about that.
Did you purchase that? Like, at the end, you're like, do you want to add $9 extra of insurance on this thing? Do you have your 3D printer insured, Joey?
I don't know. If I didn't get it, then I don't think I need insurance. I don't think that counts. If your car explodes before it gets to you, I don't think I'm liable for that. But
It's a great symbol.
the manufacturer is like 12 hours ahead of us, so it's the middle of the night for them. So I messaged them. I'm like, hey, get in contact with UPS, send me a new printer or whatever. So who knows how long it's gonna take me to get one now.
All right. Well, we'll have to get daily briefings and updates here.
I will. I'll
on the 3D
a little like Seahawk Radio, Seahawk Talk, Salve Athletics, whatever the heck logo. Like I'll print one for us just to prove that it exists now. Like eventually when I get it, I'll print one. So make me a 3D model of Sammy Seahawk and I'll print it for us, and we can put it on Ed's desk.
That I will hold you to that. We put many things in the can to come back, and we'll get back to people on. We're not letting that one slip away. Fellas, great work here today. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, and no program, so enjoy the day off tomorrow, and I'll talk to you again on Thursday.
All right. We'll see you all on Thursday.
All right, that's Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. Like I just said, no show tomorrow, so everybody will have the day off. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. We're live every day except for major holidays at 3 p.m. here on the Salve Athletics Network, 3 to 4 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. You can like, follow, and subscribe on all of those platforms to never miss a show. You can go back and rewatch past episodes of the show. You can also subscribe to the Seahawk Talk podcast through Sounder FM or your favorite podcast app to take Seahawk Talk on the go. That'll do it for today's show. Want to thank our guests once again. We had Greg K., Lauren Packer, Hannah Smith, Gabriella Von Barron, Casey Gallo, and Robin McFetters. Big thanks to them for coming on the program here today. Thank you for tuning in and listening along with us. I am Andrew Pizzelli. Have a good night, everyone.